What's up, good people? What's up, good people? We are back in the building. Hopefully, the audio and everything is fine. I was having more of those good old fashioned technical issues. So we'll see how everything goes today. I'm not exactly confident that everything is well right now, but we're getting the party started. I'd like to thank everybody who's coming on in and who will come on in, watching it live or catching the restream. I'd like to show some appreciation to all of you. I see a few people already following right on in here. You saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. NBA superstar, Hall of Famer Isiah Thomas stated that welfare broke up his family. Interesting discussion point. We'll be definitely getting into that. So without further ado, let's get this party started. Let's get this show on the road. And I'm fumbling with my buttons as usual. Trying to figure out. Oh wait, no, I already. Okay, see, yeah, I'm so many unforced errors today. But I'm working on it. But I think we got it now. I think, nope, I don't think we got it. Let's see. Give me 1 second. 1 second there. 1 second there. Right there. Click, clack, clickety, clack. All right, now we got it. Now we're set and ready to go.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, no traffic jam delay. See, I was driving over the moon in my big hot air balloon, floating high into the darkness. I hope I get there soon. There's so many things to do, so many people I need to talk to, and they've all been waiting for me. Well, I gotta make it through. Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, traffic jam delay. Thank my stars for every breeze. You have no idea what it means. No, no. To a man who's always traveling, who's seen the things that I've seen. I don't know what's yet to come. Not sure of anything that I've done really makes that much a difference. Well, I hope it has for some. Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me. No traffic jam delay. Well, I was driving over the moon, in my big hot air balloon, floating high up in the darkness. I promise that I'll make it to you very soon. Something special happened today.
And we're back, and we're back, and we're back. I'd like to welcome everybody on in the building today. Said earlier that I was having some technical issues, and I'm not even sure that they are all resolved. I think I probably sound far away. It's probably the microphone. It was seemingly hooked up right, but I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. Not 100% sure. But we're going to get into it. We all family here, so y'all can deal with me through a little bit of technical issues. I may adjust the settings on the air like I did during the last show, and then the sound came back crisp and clear like you like. It was still not as crisp and clear as I like. I might have to get that SM740 something, whatever the hell it's called. Y'all know the mic that y'all see. Y'all see the people with. Y'all know the good mic. Even though I was told this was a good one, it cost the same amount. But Excalibur, that camera not focusing thing, that's a regular reoccurring thing. That ain't going nowhere. At least not for now. It's focused, yeah. When I move it, it refocuses on me, and I don't have a problem with that. I have no problem with that at all. For a simple reason, this camera that I got, this Nikon, every 30 minutes, if I just set it, I don't feel like explaining all this. If I just set it, focus it where I want it to be, then every 30 minutes it'll turn off. When I got the autofocus on like that, and the camera keeps refocusing itself by itself, then the camera is moving, is working. It's not going to shut off every 30 minutes. Also, it's my way of knowing that I'm in the most optimal focus as possible. So that's a trade-off that I decided to go with. So when I make an abrupt move, you're going to see it focus. See? That's a little small annoying. That's minor annoyance versus me having to say, hey, hold on, y'all. Now I got to get up and go the camera. No. So that's a small annoyance. If I would have knew what I was doing, I would not have gotten the Nikon. I started out with a Canon N50, but for reasons that I don't feel like explaining, that one wasn't working out for me. And now this one has its own set of problems, but I'm just working through it. I may upgrade some equipment later, but either way it go. We in the building, we in here. I'd like to do a special thanks and shout out to Pablo Frescobar, because he sent me an email that this show will be predicated on. He sent me an email that this show will definitely be predicated on. based off a clip that he saw from Club Shay Shay. If you don't know what Club Shay Shay is, that is Shannon Sharp's podcast / YouTube channel. I just recently subscribed to it, where he interviews athletes. I mean, he interviewed Ice Cube on the Contract with Black America. So he covers black social issues mixed with a athlete spin, you know. At least that's my perception of it. I could be wrong. I've only seen 2 or 3 episodes. So, you know, we're seeing a lot of that. I think Carrie Champion and Jamila Hill is doing something like that, where they sit there and they chop it up about sports or whatever is on their mind, and Jamila Hill uses that soapbox to take a dump on Trump. So a lot of athletes are doing that. They're using various social media platforms. They're branching out from wherever they started. They started out on ESPN or somewhere else. They get a big name and then they go and do their own thing solo, which I respect. You know, I definitely respect that. I definitely respect that they're doing that. I talked about Roland Martin yesterday, so he's essentially doing that same thing in a similar way. So there's that. So we understand what that is. We understand what Shannon Sharp's show is. It's different from his little whatever him and Skip Bayless got going on. I don't watch their show no more. I still can watch Stephen A. and Max Kellerman. I still can get into those guys. I can't exactly get into Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless no more, because their LeBron discussions just get too ridiculous. It's too out of control. Where one person just Johnson riding so hard, and the other person is just hating just beyond belief. It's just not even a real discussion. It's theater. I don't want to hear about, you know, if LeBron's team lose and he had 38 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. I don't want to hear a intense breakdown of, but the reason they lost, because in the final 6 minutes, he had 2 turnovers and he was 1 for 4. And he made a decision to, I'm like, man, come on. The man balled out. He played good. His team lost. Like, cut it out. There was a stretch in the third quarter, a 4-minute stretch in the third quarter where he didn't even take a shot. It was like, it gets so goofy, because when you break down what he's saying, when you talk about, you know, he'll criticize LeBron. He only had 5 points, 1 assist, and 1 turnover in the fourth quarter. Okay, he played the whole third. He rested the beginning of the fourth. He came back and finished the game. Shut up. All right. Enough of that. No basketball talk today. The shit gets goofy. Yeah, no, I was trying to fix that. We all family here, so bear with me. I try to fix it live on the air again. Bear with me. I try to fix it live on the air. I don't know what's going on or why the sound is off or what's happening. It makes no sense at all. I played with this thing. I adjusted this thing. Give me a second. Testing. Does that sound any different? Let me get my cell phone out and see if this thing. Yeah, we're trying to figure that out right now, third. We're trying to figure that out. Something is wrong with the mic sound. Let me get my cell phone out and see if this thing. Yeah, it's sounding damn near like I'm working off computer, basically off my computer audio. I will start this thing over. or just come back later if I can't get it right. I will start this thing over. I think, hold on. All right, let's see. Right now, I can kind of tell that ain't. Oh wait, I might be back. I might be back in business. Yeah, that's what I like to see. When I slap the mic, that circle gets big. That's how I know the mic is on. Let me know right now. Let me know. Thanks, Pablo. He said that's perfect. All right, I think I got it. All right, damn, I gotta leave stuff alone. But I be trying to play around with new equipment, adding new equipment to the show, new things to the show. When I play around with the new equipment, I mess up all the old equipment. And then I don't know how to get the old equipment back working right. Because it took me forever to get that to work right originally. And once I got that to work right, then I try to add some more stuff, and now I forget how to use the old stuff. All right. But thank you, fellas. Thank you. I appreciate it. Get that right there. All right. Where was we at? I'm gonna get right into it because it's an interesting topic today. I'm not gonna labor on and on like I normally do. I'm gonna hop right into it. Prophet of thought. Thank you for that super chat. I got distracted and lost focus on what I was doing and didn't even properly shout you out. He says, "Peace and wake your black ass up with Brother Bernard Riley." Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. I got busy, got caught up and just skated right on past your super chat. My bad. Gotta shout out Brother X over there doing his thing. Oh man. Here we go. About to pull up the clip. Well, actually, I gotta go to my email. Going to play the clip. Is real interesting. Or just an overall interesting discussion. Something was said in the interview. Where we at, Pablo? Where we at? I know I got your email over here. Yeah, something was said in that interview that was real funny. Because she was worrying about him going to Indiana University or whatnot. And she was like, she was asking, hey, is the Klan, are they going to be a problem or whatever? Are you going, she was basically saying, she's sending her son, her 17-year-old boy, her baby, sending her baby down there. And I don't even want to explain how he worded that. I just gotta let that play. I'll let that part play because it's pure entertainment. Talking about what the Klan gonna do if the Klan is he asking Bobby Knight. You know who Bobby Knight is. That's the chair throwing coach. That's the player choking coach. Isaiah Thomas choked the coach, so there's that. But Let me get to it. I got the clip up right here. Got to do a screen share. See you, Dane. Appreciate you dropping the links. Appreciate that.
Indiana. What was the thought process of going to Indiana? I'm sure you had heard some of the stories about Coach Knight, and then it's reported that your brother and Coach Knight get into it when he comes to recruit you.
Well, all that's true. And by the way, if you hear something scratching, that's my dog behind me. So.
I saw him walk in.
Yeah, and now most people probably think I got a big.
That started before I was ready for it to start. I'm doing everything wrong today. So bear with me. All right, let me get my earpiece in so I could hear it. Execution is off today. It's Sunday. I'm a little groggy. Easy like Sunday morning, as they say. But all right, let's get into it. Shout out to everybody. I didn't even properly shout out or acknowledge everybody on the way in. Yeah, I see Perfect Storm in the building. See Excalibur 3rd Ward. Shout out Harmony P, Dane Christopher, the Capricorn Way. I don't know what that means. Body Thug. All of y'all. And like I said, Pablo. What's up? All right, let's get into it. Osama Abdu in the building. All right, we got it. Caveman talk. What's going on? All right, we got it. Gotta acknowledge the folks, as Bill O'Reilly used to call his audience, or I think the American people in general. He used to call them the folks. I'm gonna let a lot of this play just because I tend to like to go right to the part where it got interesting, but I'm just gonna let a lot of this play because it's an interesting conversation. I like what Shannon Sharp is doing. Well, not really, but I like it. Let's go.
The thought process of going to Indiana. I'm sure you had heard some of the stories about Coach Knight, and then it's reported that your brother and Coach Knight get into it when he comes to recruit you.
Fair use.
All that's true. And by the way, if you hear something scratching, that's my dog behind me. So
I saw him walk in.
Yeah, and now most people probably think I got a big dog, but that little fella, he tough now. But I didn't make the decision to go to Indiana. That was made by my mom. And again, back
Mama. But that will be kind of explained, though. If I remember right. Oh, I gotta find that clip. Isiah Thomas was talking about how his mama, oh my goodness. Ooh, I got to find the clip. Coach Ali in the building. What's going on? Good brother came through with the heavy-handed super chat. I'm disappointed on my new equipment. I keep pulling up y'all this little digital interface mini sound thing so where I can be dropping bombs and all of that stuff that I don't know how to get it worked or set up yet. Today's Sunday. I may chill this whole Sunday and may just chill down here playing with equipment, and hopefully on Monday I'll come back right. But Coach Ali Corner in the building. We about due for another one-on-one, by the way. Thanks for that heavy-handed super chat. Definitely appreciate that. And let me double check, make sure your wrench ain't get jacked on Wrenchgate. Oh no, you still in the building, still a mod. Okay, cool. Shout out to Coach Ali, appreciate you. But no, it was I know y'all want to get to this video and get to the meat of the video, as David Carroll likes to say. But it was a funny ass story when because Isiah Thomas was talking about his mom, and he was like they was coming to the game when he first got in the NBA. They was coming to the game. He was like, man, they was loud. They was talking shit. He said they was pulling fried chicken out of their purse and just ghetto as hell, just making noise. He said they packing heat. They got a gun in their purse. They got gun chicken and hot sauce in their purse at the game.
just loud as hell, just cackling. And I guess everybody was scared to say something to him. So they more or less went they went to Isiah after, I think they tried to say something to him, and then, the mama and them went off. Mama and them went off, and they was like, oh shit, we can't control these heifers. And then then they went to Isiah Thomas and was like, hey, you think you talk to your mom and your aunties? And he was like, I can't tell them what to do. he was like, I'm a grown ass man, millions of dollars. I can't tell mom and them what to do. Y'all can't tell them what to do. I can't tell them what to do. We just, hey, y'all just gonna have to use full force and authority and drag them out or just deal with them. But I ain't selling them shit. That was what Isiah said about his mom. They used to be at the games wilding. I gotta find that clip. Pablo remember that good. I'm glad. Y'all know I ain't just making that one up. Like they was from the hood. Like they was hood. My mom and them was wild. And he gonna talk in this video. He's not gonna talk about that in this video, but he gonna talk a lot about the poverty they was living in. And then, it speaks to something because it was some serious poverty going on back then with a lot of black people. And he said he was poor and hand-me-downs and had to somebody else said they saw that. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. Yeah. Yeah. But all right, getting back to the video. Once again, shout out to Coach Ali, came through with the super chat. Email me. Let's get a topic together. Coach Ali. Let's get something. Let's put something on wax. Let's get a topic together and do another one-on-one.
Then remember your mom and your dad, they had the hammer.
Right.
And I'll never forget, my mom, called the press conference and she said, my son has made his decision. He decided to go to Indiana University and play for Coach Knight. And I was like this.
Mama. You're gonna hear mama all through here.
And yeah, he and my brother, they got into it, and they got into a pretty big fight. And the reason why
what happened? What was it about?
Well, Coach Knight was recruiting me to come to Indiana in Bloomington, Indiana.
Right.
And the next town over from Bloomington was Martinsville, Indiana.
Okay.
What the Klan started at. And
right.
What the Klan is has a big presence in the state of Indiana.
Right.
And so my brother, he asked Coach Knight, he said, well, when Junior's down there, because that's what they call me in the family, they said when Junior's down there, if something was to go down with the Klan, who's going to take care of him? And I thought it was kind of a funny answer. Coach Knight said, well, if we're winning, they will. So we just kind of laughed it off.
Right. That's actually funny to me. I don't know about y'all, but I find that pretty damn funny, pretty sharp and witty that Coach Bobby Knight would say that. And it's sort of, I don't want to get too much into that because that ain't what the whole topic of it is about. But I found that part just funny as hell, to where it does speak to, even amongst the most racist of white people, if the black person is useful, they don't give a damn. They don't give. It's like it's like a cap on their racism. It's a serious cap on their racism, but I like that brutal honesty that Bobby Knight had right there, and yeah, apparently I was about to find out Isiah Thomas' brother wasn't feeling that brutal honesty.
brother didn't think that was funny.
Right.
So he's like, oh, he went into his thing and
Right.
and so they got into a little back and forth, and then my brother said, well, hey, we can take this outside. And Coach Knight stood up, took his jacket off, rolled up his sleeve, and was like, yeah, we can take this outside. And everybody in the house, we were panicking. Oh no, you know how households are.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Now, Shannon, let me paint the scene. So at that time we got no lights. We poor as poor, so all our meetings have to be in the daytime.
Right.
So it's about 4:00, and again, we got it was a big roach crawling behind Coach Knight's head.
Oh man.
And it was like we were sitting there like, go away.
They don't come out until you have company, Isaiah.
Right. And so sorry about my dog. But anyway, so now it's getting to be a little dusk, and I remember, so the scuffle, started happening. Not a scuffle, but the back and forth.
Right.
Coach Knight took off his jacket, and we was all no. And it's that one person in the room who ain't moving, ain't doing nothing.
Right.
And that was my mom. My mom was looking at him like, shaking her head, and I was like, oh, she like him.
We might need David Carroll to take that one down in the hole. David Carroll might have to take that one down in the hole. Because I interpret that as she just looked at him as just a fighter. Came into a hostile environment, He out in the middle. He came to the ghetto part of the ghetto to recruit her son. The brother, his older brother, who we'll find out became the de facto patriarch of the family when we get into the actual main topic of, why the dad wasn't there. When we get into that main topic or when he talks about welfare. So, here's Bobby Knight, white man, just came to the ghetto part of the ghetto, trying to recruit Isiah Thomas. His brother, who's the man out of the house now, because the dad ain't there, said something about the Klan in Indiana or whatever, and y'all heard what Bobby Knight said. He said, "Hey, you gonna take care of Junior?" I mean, the brother was like, "You gonna take care of Junior if something go down with the Klan?" He said, "Well, if we win, the Klan gonna take care of him. the Klan gonna use their ruthless thug powers or whatever. They was the white thugs in the white sheets. They was gonna protect him. They was gonna have his back, Brother ain't like that. Brother wasn't feeling that at all. Him and Bobby Knight about to go to blows. It can be interpreted as the mom is like, yeah, my son, Isiah Thomas' career, he's a fighter. He's a little warrior. One of the best, toughest, small players in the NBA. I mean, he's 6 feet tall. So in real life, that's tall. But in NBA, you a little guy. You puny. That's why I'm using air quotes. My basketball career didn't go nowhere because I'm 6'1". So like when I was playing, and I was 6 feet taller in the 8th grade. So I was down there in the post, just going to work in the post, just drop stepping on people in the 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. Got to varsity. I'm like, damn, I haven't grown that much since the 8th grade. My little basketball career not going nowhere. When I was 6 feet in the 8th grade, I thought I was going to be about 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". I thought I was going to keep growing. Yeah, that was a little stupid. I didn't work on my handles like I should have, But anyway, I started varsity my senior year, so I was happy about that. Started varsity my senior year. Undersized power forward. Wasn't much of a scorer then. On JV, I was putting up numbers on JV. When I got to varsity, I couldn't do nothing. There's too many 6'5", big 6'5" power forwards and centers, and they jumping out the gym. I could guard them, but I couldn't score on them. I was like Draymond Green. Oddly enough, people say I look like Draymond Green. That's sort of what my game was like. But anyway, that's another story. couldn't post up at 6'1" on varsity. No, no, you can't. No, you can't. I was trying, but I just realized, nope, that ain't my game no more. I'm not a scorer. I had to just become the hustle, defense, rebounding. But don't sleep though. 6'1" is manageable at power forward in high school for high school basketball. You can be a 6'1" power forward playing high school basketball. You know, it only became a serious problem when we'd go play some schools that had some 6'8" center. But normally if the center was that tall and you haven't heard of him, he probably was sorry as hell. So, but we would play some teams, they might have a 6'6", 6'7" center. We had a 6'5" dude who could jump out the gym and used to guard them. But the next tallest person on the team was normally 6'4", 6'5". I had to guard him. And so I was able to guard the big boys. I was able to get down there and guard them. You know, I was strong. I could guard them. But as far as playing at a higher level, no. That was done. That was out of the question. My career was over at high school, and which is, you know, and honestly, I did say that that was my goal, to just start varsity all 20 games my senior year, which I did. I was very proud of that. So if I would have tried to force my way, because I did at my senior year, I did all the drills with the guards to try to develop my handles, and I got better. I got real good at dribbling with my left hand, you know, shooting. I was already pretty good shooting around the basket with my left, but I got real good at dribbling with my left. I got good. I got to the point to where, like, our offense, the power forward, I'm going to spend too much time talking about basketball, but we are talking about Isiah Thomas here. So there's that. But the offense we ran, the power forward would end up top a lot of the times, or on the wing. You know, it was like a rotation or motion offense or something like that. So I would end up on the perimeter. So I did get to do some ball handling, but it wasn't my thing. I ain't had quick pat handles, but you wasn't gonna take the ball from me, you know, but I wasn't gonna cross you up or, you know, or do nothing spectacular getting to the basket. You know, I was like I said, that Draymond Green the comparison is very fitting. You know, Draymond ain't gonna get ripped. Ain't nobody gonna take the ball from him. If he have to, he can handle the ball if he have to. But you know, he ain't no primary ball handler. You know. But be that as it may. It's hit the like button. But here we go. Now, where I'm from, you can't be 6'1". We had R.J. Reed and Alonzo Mourning in conference. Damn. We had some people like that. I mean, the tallest person I had to guard was 6'5". But, you know, it was normally one. If the 6'5" person wasn't the tallest person on the team, it was normally one super lanky 6'9", 6'7" dude out there, and I didn't have to guard him. No, so you could get away with it if you was strong and you had defense. You could get away with, you know, it was undersized. If the average power forward is 6'4", and let's just say in the NBA, traditionally the average power forward have been 6'10". So a 6'7" power forward who knew how to use his body and box out and everything could get away with playing the position. It wasn't ideal, but if he knew what he was doing, he had a little savvy, you know, down there under the basket, he could get away with it. So that's pretty much what that was. So I think being a 6'1" high school power forward is equivalent to being like a 6'7" power forward in the 90s. To put some perspective on that, Dennis Rodman, greatest rebounder ever, was 6'8". So, you know, if you know what you're doing, you can get away with it. Barkley's barely 6'6". So if you know what you're doing, you can get away with it. Know how to use your body and rebound, you can get away with it. But yeah, that's that. But like I said, Isiah was one of the toughest little guys in the NBA. You know, him, Allen Iverson, you know, they was fearless. They was tough. So we can look at that situation like Isiah, who was this tough, hard-nosed kid, and she's seeing this coach come into the ghetto part of the ghetto to recruit him, and about to get into a fight with his big brother and not backing down, and she could be looking at that like, okay, this is the type of man I could send my son off with him. He a fighter. He a fighter. But like I said, this white man coming in your house ready to go to blows with your son, who's the patriarch of the family, as after you ran welfare, after you chose welfare over him. And that's some white man in your house trying to fight him. And you're looking at that white man like, ooh, I like him. We can interpret that the way that I just interpreted it. Or David Carroll can take that one down in the hole. And I think it'd be interesting. I think somebody ought to send him the email, send him the link. I just want 6'1" power forward, LOL. Why is y'all hating on 6'1" power forwards? And I'm talking high school basketball. I ain't talking college. You try to be a 6'1" power forward in college, it won't happen. 6'1", and the average power forward on a high school basketball team is probably 6'4". Probably 6'4". So you can get it done at 6'1". You can get it done. You ain't gonna be no All-American. You ain't gonna be the team's leading scorer, but you can get the job done. You can get the job done. Oh yeah, okay. Somebody know they old school. Tiny Archibald. He was the first person who led the league in points per game and assists per game in the same year. Know my history on him. He was before his time. I think he had an injury that messed up his career, but if you find the older clips of him in the 70s, man, he was doing moves that they weren't even doing in the 70s yet. That man was before his time. Like, you got to find the older clips of him. It was a brief moment when he was playing for the Celtics with Larry Bird, and he still had handles then, but he just wasn't explosive. So he had some, you could tell he had some, something happened. Like, if you just go look at his stats year by year, it was a huge drop off at one point. Maybe he got old, maybe he had an injury. I don't know, but I know it was a moment where he averaged something like 34 points, 11 assists, and he led the league in points per game and assists per game that year, first person to do it. I know my NBA history. So shout out to whoever, who was that? Mr. J, was that Mr. I? I think that's J15 or I15. I don't know. Or that's a one. Okay, that's weird. That's not even my vision messing up on me right there. That's not even my vision messing up on me. That's an underscore, a capital I, a number 1, and an S. Okay, see, I knew what I was talking about. I didn't know for sure, but Pablo got the info. He said Tiny's knees gave out. He was a bad boy. He was ahead of his time. I was watching clips for him. I was like, man, this don't even look like the 70s the way he was crossing people over. Like, I was like, that did not look like 70s basketball when I saw his clips. Because it wasn't like, like Pistol Pete had some handles and made some fancy passes, but it was just different with Tiny Archibald, man. He had modern day hood nigga handles. I go and say it. He had that in the 70s, man. He was breaking them down. But all right, let's get back into it. If y'all missed where I was at with my ramble, when I was rambling, yeah, Bobby Knight and Isiah Thomas' brother was about to get to throwing blows. Get out of there. Omega Dreads. I don't need no glasses. I'm like, what did Red Fox say in Harlem Nights? I forgot his first name. It was something like, I'm Willie Snake Eyes Willie Snake Eyes Jenkins. I can call the dice before they done rolling. I don't remember his name. I just called him Willie Jenkins. But I know Snake Eyes was his name. Yeah, when Snake Eyes got old, he needed some glasses. He couldn't call the dice no more. I got something in my eye. Well, get it the fuck out, y'all, you blind motherfucker. Man, I was too young to be watching that movie, man. I was on the floor crying. Man, to me, Harlem Nights, they invented cuss words. My mom went around the house cussing. I I know, I had, well, her first husband, wasn't a husband at the time. I don't remember my dad cussing. Like, I mean, my dad died when I was young, but I don't remember him doing a whole lot of cussing. I mean, I was real young when he died. Her boyfriend at the time, who ultimately became, her first husband. Don't remember him doing. He did a little cussing, but my mom wasn't much of a cusser. I had an auntie who used to cuss like a sailor, but Harlem Nights, man, to me, that movie invented cuss words. I didn't. Cuss words was not a thing to me until Harlem Nights. I was just watching that with just my eyes was that damn big, like whoa. Yeah, Harlem Nights, a classic, definite classic. All right, I'm trying to get back into this. Yeah, quit distracting me. Quit distracting me. No.
And so that's how it went down. And my mom and my sister, he came in and he said, I'm gonna offer your son 3 things. A, he's gonna graduate from college. B, he's gonna be a gentleman. And C, everything that I know about basketball, I'm gonna teach him. And that was it.
Isiah, at the time that you went to college, was your father alive?
My father was alive. Now, the interesting thing about
is about to get into the part, but I do got to make a correction on somebody in the chat who said Will Chamberlain was the first person to lead the NBA in scoring and assists in the same season. I don't think it was the same season, and I know he didn't lead it in assists per game. He led it in total assists. So I don't think you got the facts right. I am going to check that on the air, but I don't think you got the facts all the way correct on that. I know he led it in assists. He didn't lead it in assists per game. He averaged 8.8 assists that year. That year in question, he averaged 8.8 assists per game. And that's not enough to lead the league in assists, but he led the league in total assists because the people who got more assists than him played less games. He played all 82 games, so he ended up with higher totals. So that counts for something, but I'm not sure that he led the league in scoring that particular year. But the NBA historian in me cannot let that one go. Cannot let that one go. Cannot let that one go. And I'm pretty quick with the trigger when it comes to looking up NBA stuff. So I already got it up right here. I'm looking at it in 1968. He averaged 24 points per game in 1968. He did not lead the league in scoring that year, but that year he, however, did average 8.6 assists. I said 8.8 assists. Don't get me started on basketball, fellas. Y'all know I'm known to ruin my show talking about basketball. People came here to hear about pussy and talk about these bitches, and y'all get me going on basketball, and then I get all sidetracked. But I'm just going to very, very briefly, give me 30 seconds. I'm going to prove this, and then we're going to get right back to the regularly scheduled program. All right, this is the year you're talking about right here. I'm quick with the trigger when it comes to NBA stats. Don't try me. Don't try me. All right. You said 1968. That was indeed the year that he led the league in assists. You can see right there, assists dropped down. He averaged 8.6 assists that year. That same year, he averaged 24 points per game right here. In the years that he led the league in scoring, it's in bold. That was these years. These are the years he led the league in scoring. Those are in bold. Who the hell averaged more than 38.9 that year? That's interesting. Damn, somebody was dropping numbers. But yeah, no, 24.3 ain't get it, and it's not in bold. So no, that's not. He didn't do it that year. And you see that that's not even in bold. That 8.6. So that wasn't even the highest total right there. Anything that he led the league in that year is in bold. That 27 is in bold. 25, 24 on the rebounds. All that's in bold print. So no, not in bold print with the assists. He did not lead the league. He didn't lead the league in assists per game, and he definitely didn't lead it in scoring that year. When they say he led the league in assists, they are talking about totals. Because you see, he had 700 assists that year, and that's the same year, 1968. And so yeah. And he didn't lead the league in scoring that year, but he led the league in assist totals. Okay, back to the regularly scheduled program. I'm an NBA historian. No, you can't throw out some inaccurate stats on me. I look them up. But y'all should be impressed on how much of that I knew right off the top of my head. All right. Where's Isiah Thomas at? All right. Now we 51 minutes in. Hit the like button. We getting into the meat of the video.
And that was it.
Isiah, at the time that you went to college, was your father alive?
My father was alive. Now, the interesting thing about my father, my mother, and my father, and again, you know, people who were coming up in the 60s, you will know this. You know, so we had to go on welfare. Mm-hmm. So when you go on welfare, I mean, the U.S. government was really breaking up your family because the man couldn't be inside the household.
Right.
And so my father had to leave so we can get on welfare, get the welfare check, and then they started having teaching and everything else. But my dad, when he looked at Indiana, he did not like me playing basketball.
Okay.
My father.
You heard it there. I let it play a little.
Like nothing about entertainment. My father was everything about books, learning, getting educated, because this is the way you're going to make it in this world.
Right.
Son, if you think you're going to make it in this world bouncing a basketball, that's not how you're going to make it. You're not going to be, you know, and his beliefs was, you know, entertainment, you know, wasn't the door or the avenue for you to make it. It was right. Education. And those were his beliefs.
Isiah, the reason why I ask you that, because I don't know how many people know this, but we know this because we come from Black families. The older brother took on the role as the father if the father wasn't in the house. And because you said your older brother had this conversation, that let me know, okay, when the father was absent, he's the man of the house. He took on that responsibility. Yes,
he did. And even though, and it's well documented, you know, my brothers after the Vietnam War, everybody fell into, you know, heroin and cocaine. Mm-hmm. And my brothers, you know, a couple of them died, you know, one of them had HIV. And, you know, so it was a very difficult time during that period of time. But the messages that they were always giving me
right
during their hard times was, hey, don't do what we're doing.
Right.
You can do something else. And Shannon, I'll never forget, you know, now you got me going down memory lane.
All right, let's get into it. I really want to know the point of this person's questions. Said welfare wasn't breaking up married couples where the dad was working. Well, there is a such thing as working poor. And it was a lot of working poor Black people. I could show you the data on that. So yeah, it did cripple. It did break up some families. Or as Isiah Thomas worded it, he said it caused a rift. It caused some tension between him and his mom. Because in order for them to get to welfare, he couldn't be there. Isiah Thomas talked about how poor they were. But get this. They were that damn poor when he talked about the roach crawling above Bobby Knight's head. They were that damn poor long after the dad was gone. Long after dad wasn't there. I think the dad might have been dead during the timeline, because his father did pass away, if I understand that right. Because they alluded to it, but they didn't get heavy into it. But I think when Isaiah Thomas was talking about how his dad didn't think entertainment or basketball or anything would be Isaiah Thomas's way of making it, I think that he was telling him that earlier. I think later he died. Isaiah Thomas did make it in the NBA eventually, but I don't think you can just flat out say if the dad was working. Like what that reeked of is somebody trying to it sounds like that was a statement that reeked of you niggas was incompetent, she had no choice. That's what that reeked of. Which is kind of distasteful, because we understand the times that they were coming out of. We understand that a hard-working man, most men back then, but especially black men, a hard-working man back then doing what he got to do to provide for his family. Ends wouldn't always meet, but they were a friggin' family. You could see how much he valued education. You could see how Isaiah Thomas talked about how, hard work and education, that was what his dad felt was the way to get out of it. So it's hard for me to believe he wasn't a man who wasn't about working hard. It just, even with people back then, I've told a lot of stories from people who were around back then who worked hard and made it big and made it rich. I highlighted the story of Larry Elder's dad, who was actually, before this time. He made it big in that time. It was not big, but he was a business owner. I talked about John James, how his dad, coming out of that time, started a business that grew to millions of dollars right now. John James runs that business now. It's worth $134 million. So yeah, people can make it back then, but you're going down a very goofy path if it's a matter of, if we're talking about shitting on actual intact family that were just in that time. We talking coming out of the 60s into the 70s, when all of this would have had to been going on. Isaiah Thomas made it to the NBA in I want to believe 81. That's one of my NBA history things I should know off the top of my head. But no, I don't know that, but I do know that he was they did 4 years in college back then. So I'm assuming he was 77 when he started his career at Indiana University. So I'm assuming Bobby Knight was recruiting him. We're talking 76, 75, somewhere in that range. So that's when we're talking. And times was hard for a lot of black people. And I understand that, free food not free food, but food from the government is enticing. But even while getting that food from the government, as you can see, even when Isaiah Thomas made it all the way almost damn near adulthood, they were still poor. Ain't like it saved them. Ain't like it did anything. Only thing it did is it took the father, the only one who seemed to, have some type of mindset, at least, of structure. He probably ain't had the money, but he did have a mindset of structure, because Isaiah Thomas told the stories about his mom, how they pistol packing, got hot sauce and chicken in the bag at the Pistons game, and security tried to talk to him and got cussed out. And then they went to Isaiah like, "Hey, you think you can get your mom and your auntie them?" And he like, "I can't tell them what to do." That's who was raising them. That's who those kids were left at the mercy of. Had Isaiah Thomas not made it to the NBA, that family would have been shit. My parents and grandparents were not on welfare, and most of those I grew up around were not either. Only non-married women. Okay. I don't understand the point. that yes, there were some families that didn't get on welfare. There were some families that I think made the right call. That if we are married and if we are in the working poor, we are a working poor family. The operative word here is family. So, yes, there are some women who made the right decision. So, I don't know if you're making a counterpoint or if you're just adding to what I'm saying. Like, I don't know who you are. If we're talking about families that made the right call, yes, we're going to be poor, but we're going to be poor together. Or we're going to be poor apart, but we got some damn government cheese. Like, that's a bad call. That's a bad decision. And somebody would always ask the question, well, okay, well, what were they supposed to do? Were they supposed to starve to death? I think this was a while ago. Well, BGS and the Wigdit one were in a back and forth, not a formal debate, but they were just on the same panel at the same time or whatever. And she said, well, what were black women supposed to do? Something along the line where they just supposed to starve. And I don't know, I can't remember exactly what happened. I think BGS might have took the bait on that and said, I think he may have said, yeah, starve or whatever. But the more sober way to deal with that one is to just simply ask the right question. In 1975, what was the starvation rate in America? What was the starvation rate? How many families starved to death? How many children starved to death in America? The only time you can look up and you can find people starving to death in America, actually starving to death, is during the Great Depression. That's the most recent time where you can find people starving. That's the only time that you can find people actually starving. Well, the most recent time that you can find people starving. It wasn't a thing in pre-welfare where okay, it's 1962. You went and did a wellness check. You knocked on the door. You went in there. A family of 5, husband, wife, 3 children, dead. Cause of death, starvation. Like, that wasn't a thing. People were poor. That's what it was. People were poor. And so, seeing as they were poor without the dad, poor with the dad, you should have been poor with the dad. And, his ability in that time where, things were different. Things were harder. Right? We talk a lot now, like, ain't no excuse, man. If you ain't performing, you ain't producing. Not that you got to be you don't have to be a 6-figure brother, but you should be sufficient. Back then, simply just getting enough food in the mouth of your family was enough. That's how it was back then. Hood Conservative in the building. Food is so cheap. We give a lot of it away for free. Oh yeah, nowadays, look, man, the amount of food that I throw away is just heartbreaking. We throw away so much food. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so yeah. Food is cheap, but times were hard. But the main focus is that he talked very clearly about how something that we talk about a lot, how welfare was breaking up the family. how his father couldn't be in the house if they accepted welfare. And the part that really jumped out to me is just the how he said that caused tension between the mom and the dad, which means they were still kind of together. They were still kind of living together. I mean, not living together. It became an awkward thing where they were together. They separated for whatever tactical reason for the welfare. She wanted to get welfare. She wanted him out the house. Now it's fair point to be made. You shouldn't have fucking left. You shouldn't have left. But you already know how that go. If they just getting by, if they rationing food, they got some potatoes that they, handing out one potato to each kid for dinner and a little small portion of rice or some shit. That if they rationing off food like that, and that woman sitting there telling him, well, we could be eating better if you just got up out of it. If you just got the hell up out this house, we could be eating better. Like, I'm not getting out of my house. We're not doing it. And then she coming at him like that. Now that house is becoming a war zone. They constantly they at war with each other. They fighting. They arguing. She arguing him down. She basically, we see it in modern times how a woman act when she really just don't want to be with a dude no more. She just become the most ornery and unbearable bitch known to man. Like, I think we know and understand how that works. So I'm trying to break this down to an interpersonal level. Just imagine the relationship dynamic. Try to imagine that. Try to imagine the amount of stuff she just had that she was complaining about daily. It's like that's what I think Isiah was talking about when he said it caused some tension between his mom and dad. And then even after the dad folded, gave in, and he left or whatever, or tried to leave, because some people tried to, pull a little Jedi mind trick on the system. They would get rid of all the dad's clothes, his toothbrush, socks, drawers, get everything out the house, make sure it looked like no man lives there. And the people, they come there, they check. They confirm no man living there, they get the welfare, but then the dad's still kind of there. But it's still a situation where now she ain't respecting him. She's took a bite of that forbidden fruit. She feel like she can live without him now. So that was a tension, and now he can't have nothing at the house, so he can't be at the house. So he out about doing shit. He probably done found some new pussy. She probably complaining about him finding some new pussy. He was like, you ran me out the damn house. What the hell? That mixed with the whole second wave of feminism and the birth of the strong, independent, don't need no man, even though you living off the government culture of it all. Had to be a shitstorm. Had to be. The perfect storm in the building says, I was poor growing up, but we always had food without welfare. I was born in 1973. Yeah. Hindsight is 2020. Let's make that very clear. But I think it's clear and obvious that, yes, having more food is better than having less food. But if that more food is coming at the expense of breaking up the family, we can see how that would cause obvious problems. Now, here's the bigger question. And this is the question that we are all gathered here today on this fine Sunday morning. We are gathered here today. Open your Bibles to 3 Corinthians. No, just playing. 2 Corinthians. That's a jab at Donald Trump for those that didn't catch that. But what we really gathered here today to discuss, to get down to the bottom of Isiah Thomas, growing up in that time, felt the direct results of LBJ, saw how welfare broke up his family. Clearly, he has to be able to think and process the simple fact that, if welfare was breaking up families then, if welfare was decreasing the probability that the next generation of young men and women would even get together and get married, because it became not a matter of it breaking up the family, but less houses became homes. Because it went from a family getting broke up to the family never getting together to begin with. The woman started out living separate with somebody who dropped off some semen, and in many cases, community semen. But she was able to live off welfare. Isiah Thomas witnessed that, was directly affected by that. And if he just didn't happen to be blessed with the ability to play basketball, his life would have been possibly ruined by that. So the $1 million question is, right now, today, does Isiah Thomas vote for the welfare state? That's the $1 million question. We're talking about a man who can speak fluently about how the Democratic policies ultimately broke up his family. He saw it, he felt it directly. But right here, right now, today, do you think he's voting Democrat? Or do you think he's voting Republican? Curious question. Well, in my research, I could not find a definitive answer. I could not. But I did find something. I found enough that simply suggests that he's probably a left-leaning voter. That he probably, even though he experienced it, even though he was in the eye of the storm, even though he could see exactly precisely what the problem was, how the problem started, and the negative results of that problem, and had he not made it into the NBA, his life would have probably been ultimately ruined by that problem. I bet he's liberal and supports welfare. I bet he supports those policies. I'm betting that he does. And I did gather some evidence. Now, hold up. Somebody already on the right track. Somebody is already on the right track in the chat. Fair use if I didn't say fair use already, because I'm about to be playing some more stuff that could potentially get the hammer brought down. So I'm saying fair use again because I got to pull something else back up. Tyrone Miles in the building. He says, my mom and dad stayed at odds, I think you mean to say, because she would keep hustling welfare even though he was working 60 hours a week to provide. He moved out when I was 8. Yeah. Those are situations. I mean, it wasn't, I mean, yes, we understand that unemployment rate was high. We understand a lot of men would, work seasonal jobs. It wouldn't necessarily be a year-round full-time job, but they would get work when they could. They would. I mean, that's happening today. I mean, you can go on blackdemographics.com. I barely talk about it because it's one of those stats that's just hard to believe, like the 50% genital herpes rate among Black women. If you look at the amount of men of all races that don't work full-time, it's like staggering. That don't work full-time year-round. It's not even over 50%. Like, it's weird. So a lot of people, it's like when it comes to jobs, man, it's like it fluctuates, There's people that, a lot of people that don't work full time. It's a weird thing, but yeah, men were working. Men with families were working, or at least trying to work, and there was ups and downs, ebbs and flows where, yeah, they were doing okay. They had food on the table, and it was times when food was a little scarce, but families pulled together and they figured out a way to work it out. But thanks for that super chat. That was interesting and well said, and something that I do believe happened. Because we see that happening today. We see women on welfare with a boyfriend who's working. They're not going to get married, but they got some babies. But they want to keep his income off the books, because his income will make it to where they won't qualify for welfare, won't qualify for as much welfare. Now, keep this one in mind before I play this clip about Isiah Thomas. Somebody already alluded to what's going on here, but here's the thing. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. Kwame Triple X. It's easy to get money from the state than to answer to the man of the house. Yes, sir. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Now, here's the deal. We see this happening today. A lot of people not getting married. The chick is unemployed, or as I always say, work part-time at Walmart and let the government subsidize the rest. She could very well have a boyfriend who may or may not even be the baby daddy. She's on welfare or whatever kind of government assistance, and she got some dude who probably worked, some factory job somewhere, making about $50K. That's a normal thing. That's called living hood rich. You hood rich when the government, when you living off the system, but you actually got an income that's off the record. The off the record income is normally the man's income, because the man actually live in that house, and he just king tut in that motherfucker, because the rent ain't nothing but $17. All the food is paid for, and she can finagle it and get some of the other bills paid for. It's all kind of ways to flip and work that shit. So all kinds of ways to flip and finagle that. So a lot of people trying to be hood rich today. So it was a lot of hood rich shit going on then. So that was a factor in the equation too. The families weren't exactly breaking up, but during that part, that's part of the time period where they had to get the man out of the house, or the man couldn't be in the house, or was it that the man's this is where it get tricky. Part of it was the man can't be in the house. There was a period of time where it was a man in the house rule, and I think they did get rid of that. But the way that the women worked around that is they would, understanding that, okay, if you can get welfare with a man in the house, income has to be counted. So we got to try to get his income not counted. So he couldn't be there so he couldn't be there on paper. Now that de-incentivizes marriage. That was part of what, took away families. And I don't even look at that as a diabolical scheme by the government. I really don't. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. I don't look at that as a diabolical scheme by the government. I think it was an attempt at fairness. Okay, a family together, they're poor, they're working poor. Okay, so they should be able to get assistance whether a man is there or not. That's fair. That is fair. If you're going to have a government assistance, going to have food stamps, whether a man is in that house or not, it should be across the board. But here's the deal: that man income and or her income, or both of their incomes together, might make it to be enough to where they don't qualify, or they only qualify for a little bit. Wait, no, I got to qualify for more. Your income is affecting me from qualifying for more. So it turned into a situation where she was trying to be with him, but not be with him. That's still happening today. And a lot of people figure out a way to be hood rich. But it's a weird thing because I know firsthand, not that I was on welfare, but I do understand how it works, because there was some times when we was young and got married and was, working, $10, $11, $12 an hour jobs. Barely that. I got married at 19. She already had a kid. Yes, I was the cleanup man. Yes, beta bucks, alpha fucks. Yeah, beta blue pill, beta cuck, whatever. Call me whatever. I was all of that. Okay, now that we got that out the way, then me and her eventually had a kid. And then we did look at the numbers. And we found out, well, damn. I think with a family of 4, if you wasn't even making what was it? Was it 50,000? If you was making less than 50,000, you qualified. Early on, that young, we was making less than 50,000 combined, because she had just had a kid. She was working part-time. My job wasn't paying nothing. We was getting by. I mean, we was a young family trying to make it. We got it together eventually. We got it together. But that's reality. I was working a job. I was able to pay the mortgage. And put food on the table. It was fine. But we did look at the numbers and see, damn, we qualify. But we had a mindset of, we don't want to use that shit, because if we never use it, we'll never need it. That was our mindset. If we never use it, we'll never need it. So we didn't use it. But we did look. And what I found out was that, and then eventually when we had another kid, the amount of money that you could make and still get on it and get something, I mean, a lot of people not making that. And so there's a supplement game. There, appreciate the wrench. Oh yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. You getting light skin privilege. That's all. It's only because you light skinned. I'm just playing. I like my dark skin queens. I ain't gonna sing no D Rail on ya. Yeah, no, sweetheart. Men can get it now. That's legit. Men can get it now. Right on. He says you have to be blue pill before you can go red pill. It's understood, Bernard. No need to explain. Right on. But let me find out that's a filter, Brenda W, and you ain't really light skinned. I'm taking that wrench. But thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat. Where was that? She says I'm caramel, but okay. That means you filtering your way to light skinned it on that picture. That's light skinned it. Pablo Frescobar says no, it's a choice. What's the choice? What did I say? I got distracted. What did you say? I got distracted. Man, go on and send her to the forbidden zone. Oh, I'll do it. I'm right here. I'll do it. Where we at? Yeah, there we go. Had to go in and hide voodoo villains or whatever her name is. I used to let her lurk around. Used to let her post crazy shit in the chat. I've more or less had my fill. I can't with her no more. I can't. I gotta let her go. Gotta let her go. Not even gonna give her the courtesy of a timeout. But it's funny, what brought her out the closet to talk some shit about me is me making light skin jokes or light skin acknowledgement. Which anybody who listens to me know that my preference is dark-skinned women. My ex-wife and current girlfriend are both dark-skinned it. But me making a joke about giving a light-skinned girl a wrench brought her out the woodwork, which speaks to Fantastic's theory about them having this deep-rooted insecurity about themselves. This deep-rooted insecurity. But anyway, let's get back on to it. Thank you to everybody who hit the super chat today. Let me double check and make sure didn't even hit my own like button. I'm slacking. But yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button. Let's get the likes up. Having a good conversation today. If you came in late, I played the clip of video of Isiah Thomas speaking about how welfare broke up his family, how it kept the dad out the home, and how it ultimately caused a rift between his mom and dad. The dad was still involved during the man out of the house period. They didn't get that deep into it, but he said it was causing tension, which I interpret that as it was tension when they were, struggling and, making enough to get by. The working poor nonetheless, but still poor, not getting an absolute 100% full belly every day, but enough food to stay alive. Nobody was starving to death in the 70s in America. I mean, nobody was starving to death in the years right before welfare. So nobody was starving to death. You had to go back to the Great Depression to find human beings in America starving to death. It wasn't a thing. So people weren't starving, they were poor. You never went to a family's house and saw a family of 5 in there dead, cause of death, starvation. You never saw that. So nobody was starving to death. So they were working poor. It's a matter of, can you be working poor? Can you be working poor without a dad? Okay, somebody came through with a super chat, said black men have a history. I'll read it, even though somebody deleted it, and thank you for deleting it, but I'll read it. Said black men have a history of leaving their families to starve. What's your evidence of that? Welfare didn't do that. Black men like making babies, not raising them. Oddly enough, prior to welfare, the marital rate was at 90%. That's my evidence that black men were not leaving their families to starve. They were with their families, and they were more than likely working poor or working class family that did enough to get by. So that's the evidence that they were not leaving their family to starve. So when you get untimed out, you can come and give the evidence that Black men have a history of leaving their family to starve. And the thing that I set up when I said it was nobody starved to death pre-welfare. She's saying Black men have a history of leaving their family to starve. Welfare didn't do that. You're not really making any sense. There's no evidence of Black men leaving their families until welfare. And if welfare was part of the reason that the family broke up, then by definition, they were not left to starve, because that's what welfare did. It brought food to the family. So your premise is wrong at every level. And also, it's worth pointing out, as I pointed out, and people always talk about this. They say Black men are leaving their families. No, they're not. When Black men got actual families and the actual family is together, in the case of marriage, we know who leaves the family. The data is clear on that. 80% women file divorce 80% of the time. So who's leaving the family? And if a woman gets the family and her whole relationship goals bucket list is complete and she's still opting out at an 80% rate, isn't it logical to conclude that when there's just a relationship without a marriage, that she's more than likely the one who's opting out of that situation? So again, where's the evidence that they're leaving their families to starve? Where's the evidence? But they really ain't coming to talk about the topic, and they don't have any evidence. All I did is, in a funny, sarcastic way, acknowledge that a woman was light-skinned at it, and then they came out the woodwork with the Black man hate. It's not the topic. Not the topic that I'm talking about. I got the moral high ground here talking about what caused families to break up. I got the moral high ground here. I understand that the only way to solve the problems of the Black community is families getting back together. I'm talking about families. But off to the side, I mentioned a joke about light-skinned women, and then they want to come out the woodwork with daggers, darts, and spears and all kind of hatred. I would have loved if they just would have came out and said, yes, in that situation, as you just described, as you just laid out, as you just played a clip of Isiah Thomas, yeah, it would have been a better call if they were poor anyway and already had roaches and everything without the dad there. They was poor without the dad after he left. If they were poor with him, what's the difference? They might as well kept the dad in the home. The woman might as well should have just not caused, as Isiah Thomas said, tension between mom and dad because she wanted to get on welfare. So that tension, aka her being a combative, unbearable bitch trying to run him out of the house, and he shouldn't have left. He shouldn't have left. Hindsight is 20/20, but no, they should have stood in it. You got to run me. You got to run me out of here with. You got to catch me lacking while you got a shotgun to my head to get me out of here. But I'll be back tomorrow, regrouped. They shouldn't have left. But they tried to finagle it like a lot of them did. They tried to like leave and be there, but not be there. That started the whole, the first generation of that uncle dad shit where, he ain't there during the week when the random drop in from, the state, he coming through, weekends. He coming by hanging out with the kids, but he ain't really there. That's what started that shit. So it seemed like the sensible thing for a lot of women to do in this conversation is just to point out that yes, so we was gonna be poor anyway. We should have been poor with the dad, and if some nights they just had to everybody get one potato. Here, you get a potato, you get a potato, you get a potato, and that was dinner. If sometimes that had to happen, like I know somebody who said they were poor like that coming up in the 80s where they had them little pot. I still like a beef pot pie is delicious, by the way. I'm still down with those fried bologna sandwich with Miracle Whip. It is some poor folks' food that is delicious. I'm due. I ain't had a fried bologna sandwich in a while. With the right amount of black, burn it with the right amount of blackness with some Miracle Whip. That good and soft bread. Oh man, I need that. I got to get back on, but I ain't bought no bologna in a while. But I can go for a fried bologna sandwich. But anyway, I know some people who, she was telling me how, when they grew up, it was a moment where I guess it was economical for her to just buy a shitload of pot pies, and they would have a pot pie for lunch and a pot pie for dinner, and that was that. And I don't know what they had for breakfast, but yeah, I mean, they had to get by. JJ in the building. He says the only welfare program for black men is prison, and black women have no problem calling the police. Hashtag SYSBM out of the country. Thank you, JJ, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Charles Faulkner in the building. Shout out to Officer Faulkner. It's incredible how people will still to this day believe the sensational lie over the simplistic truth. Yeah. Shout out to Officer Faulkner. And my man Jaquez Retro in the building. He says most of our mothers, sisters, etc. wouldn't let us leave our families even if we wanted to. Most of our mothers, sisters, etc. wouldn't let us leave our families if we wanted to. Most of our mothers and sisters wouldn't let us leave our families if we wanted to. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that. Because I think it's strong evidence that a lot of people are okay with families breaking up. Get out of there, Brenda W. She said the grilled cheese was good. You know what? If we were on welfare, my mom was like, it was moments when we was poor, but I didn't really know. So if I had a grilled cheese sandwich with some government cheese, I don't know. I just know I really like grilled cheese sandwich, but I can't confirm if it was government cheese or not. I can't confirm that. But it was some moments that my mom is not proud of. Were moments when, hey, we was just poor and ends didn't meet. But for me, I was just a happy flipping, doing cartwheels kid. I didn't care. I didn't notice. It was a few moments where it was like, whoa, this refrigerator looking a little scarce. It was some moments when I noticed there was some scarcity in that refrigerator. It was some moments when I noticed that. But, we ultimately got it together. Mama gonna work it out. Mama worked it out. I think I told the story. My mom, she was a housekeeper. She was on some maid in Manhattan shit. We went in Manhattan, but she was like, basically a housekeeper at a hotel who just worked her way up to supervisor, and then she started hiring the other housekeepers, and she worked that job all the way until she fairly recently quit. She should have quit earlier because her husband, who she got with when I was, he was a cleanup man as well. Yeah. Got with him when I was in the 7th grade, and he was a construction worker. So, when I make the argument about a regular working class man, making 50, 60K, and that regular working class woman who got a job who, she feel important, but really she's just making about 35K. That's probably what my mom make, but they put that money together and they was almost at 6 figures, and hey, welcome to the middle class. So from 7th grade on, I lived a fairly comfortable middle class lifestyle. In the younger years when I was poor, when we was poor, or on and off poor, or for the most part poor, didn't really notice that much. I mean, I knew it, but it was just it wasn't that big of a deal. It was a couple Christmases that was, the little Charlie Brown Christmas tree looked a little pathetic and not really a whole lot of presents under it. But then we had some Christmases where she pulled off a miracle, So that was that. But it wouldn't really, it was a few sharp gut punch reminders like, oh shit, we poor. I know what a did that the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 5 presents under the tree, and 4 of them motherfuckers was homemade. Like, so yeah. But when it's something like that, you know, okay, okay, we poor. I didn't know until now. We had a Christmas or two like that, but then we had a lot of Christmases where I got everything I could have, everything I wanted. She got me all 4 Ninja Turtles and Shredder one Christmas. I was like, damn, she killed it. She killed it. But anyway, I forgot where I was at. We're about to get back on Isiah Thomas. Thank y'all for coming through with these super chats. He said, welfare was the start of the weekend dad. Yeah, weekend dad paradigm. Absolutely. It started the Uncle Dad paradigm, and it made it to where if people weren't just flat out leaving their family, if men weren't flat out leaving the home, it became a situation where less houses became a home. Less people were getting married. More women were just getting knocked up. It turned into that situation. Dads were no longer picking the man that her daughter would be with. She was going out picking, and she was just picking based off what made her clit tingle back and forth. And the clit tingle back and forth guy wasn't always the guy with the character who was planning on sticking around. And that was the fall of it. That was the start of this mating market that we talk about here. Yeah, they coming through. I don't know why they getting triggered by this. Somebody said a woman can't kick a man out of the house if he owns it. And Kwame Triple X says very quite clear, I guess you never was divorced. Right on. I will acknowledge that even though I will acknowledge that, and I already have acknowledged that they should not have left. Now she could file for a divorce. I'm trying to get the house, but at the end of the day, she should not have left. I mean, he should not have left. But what I'm telling him to do then is to stay in World War III. So I don't know. It became a situation where I think they tried to finagle it. A lot of them. It became a situation where I think they legit tried to finagle it. And also, what I mean by finagle it, I'm talking about they tried to actually separate but still be together. Whatever money he was bringing in, they wanted that money to still benefit the family and get welfare. They tried to do that, but it didn't always work. Now, damn it, something was at the tip of my tongue that I was about to say. Damn it. I was trying to get to something. I do apologize. I hate when I had to be looking down, trying to scroll through these to try to see what I saw in the chat. Oh yeah, when that whole thing about a man can't get kicked out the house if he owns it. Okay. How do you know some men didn't stand strong in their house? And the woman, well, no, so we don't know that. I gotta do some research on that. Because I always say we always use the term father in the home. I think we use the term the mother and the children are not in the home. Is that we make it to where like wherever the mother lay her hat, wherever she lay her hat, that's the home. I was gonna say, well, how do you know she didn't leave and take the kids with her? How do you know that didn't happen? And I wonder if that did happen. Because also something that I believe came with the second wave of feminism is women were able to get housing. So there's that. But if she was able to get, see, it turns into a tricky thing. It goes back to that work and poor thing. If she was working poor, but working poor enough to where she could get her own housing, but qualify for welfare, yeah, I could see how a woman would say, I don't know. That's something I will. That's something I will do more research on. Royce J says we applaud women who leave abusive relationships, but castigate men for leaving abusive relationships. Yeah, the relationship turned into some goofy ass shit. You know, that tension that Isiah Thomas spoke of between his mom and his dad. If they working poor and they got a chance to go and get some more food, but they can't get the more food because he's in the house and she's trying to make it look on paper, oh, he left. Now they got to prove that he left. In order to prove that he left, he can't really be there or have no evidence of anything of him being there. So then, yeah, he did. He had to hover around from the outside and try to. So it's almost like the men can get charged up with taking a bite of the apple too, because some of them did have to comply with it. I will grant that. Some of them did have to comply with it. I got to get out of this chat. Yeah, the swirler's coming out strong. I'm gonna start hiding them. I can have people come in and try to have a sensible conversation. I can have people come in and try to have a sensible conversation, but some of them I'm just gonna hide them. Some of them I'm just gonna hide them. All right, let me get back into it. So the $1 million question. I meant that it's hard to be a deadbeat if you come from a good family. Gotcha. All right. It's raining up in here. I'm hearing a little thunder in the background. So if the stream abruptly ends, y'all know what it was. You know what time it was. You know why it happened. All right. Oh, by the way, before I roll the beautiful bean footage again, I do want to acknowledge all the mini Patreons. All of the mini Patreons. All right, let me get to this next tape. What this tape has to do here, and by the way, I still don't know why we even call it tape. That's a throwback. It's never a tape anymore. But we're about to play the tape. All right. Just a refresher once again, and I gotta make it a point to ignore the chat. See, here I go. I'm looking in the chat. Did some of them leave because she was just a bitch? Yes. She's a bitch that wanted welfare. We can get more food if you get the hell up out of here. So I want your ass to get up out of here. I ain't going nowhere. This is my house. I ain't going nowhere. Okay, well then if you can't provide more food, then bitch, you see me working every day. I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying. Shut up. Well, you ain't trying hard enough. That was her throwing the first punch, by the way. So yeah, it was World War III in the house. As somebody who left my wife, when I left her, she didn't leave me. She was unbearable to be with. Now, one difference is I fought like hell for custody of the kids. Took a few years, eventually got it. That's one difference. I'm not convinced in late 60s, late 70s, back when the single father rate was 1%. Single father raising kids by himself, 1%. Right now, today, that's 8%. Black men being the actual head. This is interesting. I'm gonna do some content on this. The black single father rate is higher than the rate of all other men. You know, those deadbeat dads that they kept talking to us about, that them swirlers keep coming in here telling us about. No, black men are single fathers more than any other man. I think at like 10.3%. That'll probably be tomorrow's content. I'm researching it right now. So that'll be tomorrow's content. Says Claude explains it all. Oh, no. He said Claudine. Claudine explains it all. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. JJ Dynamite. Ladies who have active domestic violence cases goes to front of the free housing line that they start fights with you. Yep. Ladies who have active domestic violence cases goes to front of the free housing line that they start fights with you. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I was doing some hellified research on the on single fathers, on outcomes of single fathers versus single mothers, and yeah, there's some good stuff out there. All right. Getting back focused. Okay, the purpose of this video, because when I played how Isiah Thomas spoke very fluently, very clearly about how welfare broke up his family, because he said in order to be on welfare back then, you couldn't have a dad in the home, and that caused tension between him and his mom. I mean, between the dad and the mom and everything. So he spoke about that, and he saw how welfare broke up his family, or at least was the catalyst, was the point of contention between his mom and dad that ultimately caused them to separate, which ultimately caused the mother and the children to not be in the home. Because we got to stop talking about these men as if they disappear after the relationship ends. Like they like they getting Thanos snapped. He was still in a home somewhere, living somewhere. I'm quite sure taking care of himself. I'm quite sure feeding himself. I'm quite sure he had to pay somewhere. We make it seem like there's some housing project for men who when after the family ends. No, they have to be still able-bodied working men and pay their way to live somewhere. So if they were paying their way to live somewhere, then it seemed like then the welfare becomes more irrelevant. Never mind. Welfare became a trinket that gave her the ability to be free. All right, I'm about to get into this tape. In a black household, 68% of the time, the black woman is the aggressor in domestic violence cases. Man, please send me the if you got a link or something that lays that out, please send it, because my experience, yes. Yeah, drop me a link. My email is in the about section. Silent, you are incorrect. This is not a Carl Winslow. This is a Carl Sagan. Look up the original Cosmos, and you will see Carl Sagan wearing the same jacket. I rock with Carl Sagan. Neil deGrasse Tyson was wearing one like this too, but he was only wearing it because Carl Sagan was his mentor. And I rock with Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson, so that's sort of what inspired this. This ain't a Carl Winslow. This is a Carl Sagan. Get it right. Get it right. All right. What I'm playing this one for, I talked about how Isiah Thomas, I keep saying this, I got to not look at the chat. He spoke fluently about welfare breaking up his family. Okay. Spoke fluently about welfare breaking up his family. The question that I ask is, okay, right now today, do you vote Democrat or Republican? He experienced firsthand the results of the LBJ policies. But I wonder, did that trigger in him that, wait a minute, these policies broke up my family and they're still breaking up families to this day. Or not breaking up families. You could see that less houses are becoming homes. You can see what's happening to the Black community, what happened to his family. He has to be able to see it. If he's still to this day as a mid 50s, probably he might be 60. He was born, I looked it up. He was born 61. So yeah, he's 59. Hope I didn't do no bad maths right there. But anyway, yeah. So if he's 59, he's still speaking fluently about how welfare was the catalyst of what broke up his family. He has to be able to make the distinction, make the connection that what happened to Black families from that moment and what ultimately was playing out right now. We're seeing the decline in families. We see the results of that. And he has to know and understand that had he not made it to the NBA, he talked about how ratchet his mom was. He talked about how his dad was structured, even though they was poor. Dad had a lot of structure, believed in education, believed in hard work, believed in this, believed in that. Understand his family broke up. He understand it probably would have ruined his life. That situation almost ruined his life. He just happened to make to the NBA and made, some millions. And then now he's okay. He probably still making. I mean, he was a president of a basketball team. He was a general manager, was a coach, has been a commentator for years. So he's making millions off basketball still to this day. Had it not been for him just having that natural gift and talent and some hard work to make it to the NBA, he would have literally, life would have been ruined through those LBJ policies. So right now today, we can see the ground zero of where things started going wrong in the Black community. That was ground zero. People can talk about mass incarceration all they want. No. That was ground zero right there. That was ground zero right there. We know where ground zero was at. Isiah Thomas properly, adequately identified where ground zero was at. Is he still a Democrat voting for liberal policies? It was hard to find tough, hard evidence of exactly where he votes, but I found something that will give you an idea. So we're about to roll the beautiful bean footage on that.
I respect Isiah Thomas's talent. It's, to me, the best
Fair use.
point guard of all time is Magic Johnson, and right behind him is Isiah Thomas. No matter how much I hate him, I respect his game.
I don't know what went into.
Hold on. Somebody memed what I say right here, and somebody said that the caption was when you take a woman out on 3 dates and then she ghosts you.
I don't know what went into that process. I met the criteria to be selected, but I wasn't.
The thing about Isiah.
Whoever the hell memed that statement was funny as hell. After a chick ghosts you after 3 dates. I don't know what went into the criteria of being selected, but I know I met that criteria, but I wasn't selected. That was some funny shit. But all right, back to business. Had to get a laugh in on that one. Florida Evans was the real MVP. She wasn't losing James for powdered milk, thick ass peanut butter, and a block of cheese. Right on. Ricardo Rodney in the building with a super chat. Thanks, Jermaine, thank you very much for that super chat. Appreciate you. All right, let's get back into it. I think they're gonna take a slight minute getting right into the meat of what we're talking about here, but we're gonna roll it.
Isiah Thomas, and he should stop now. He should not contest Michael Jordan now.
Personally, I paid a heavy price for that decision.
Detroit Piston Isiah Thomas was painted as the villain in The Last Dance. On the court, the rivalry was fierce. Michael Jordan got beaten up by Thomas's bad boy Pistons, so he enlisted Tim Grover to work with him and bulk him up to beat Detroit. MJ would win 6 rings. Thomas would win 2, going back-to-back in 1989 and 1990. Off the court, in a different ballgame, the world of social justice, Thomas's track record far succeeds Michael Jordan's.
We're going to have a march, 12 o'clock, Saturday, the 27th of September, where we're asking everyone to come down and to be involved in this march against crime.
In September of 1986, in his new home of Detroit, Thomas organized a No Crime Day march and banquet. As the LA Times wrote, Thomas, a driven man with a message for his city, stop the killing, stop the crime for at least one day. He spoke with a group recently expelled from school. It's got to stop somewhere. It should stop with you. Thomas went to the roughest parts of Detroit to ask local drug pushers to get along. If one less guy or girl gets shot, if one less mother has to cry, then it's the most successful program ever run in Detroit because one less person died, he said. He brought a mother, now motherless because of gun violence, up on stage to make a point to the youth 2 months prior to the march. Guess who came up with the idea and approached local politicians? Isiah Thomas.
All right, so like I said, it's hard to just find anything that just says precisely where the man voted, how he voted, if he voted Democrat, if he voted Republican. But his first action in 1986, it wasn't him fighting racism. He was speaking to something that we speak to a lot in this space. A lot of those problems are self-inflicted. A lot of them are self-inflicted. A lot of them come down to people, what I call the offspring of that generation, that first generation of post-second wave of feminism, post-welfare hookup culture that started going on. That first generation that came out of that, not the people that already were married in an intact family and the family had a little divide because of the welfare. I'm talking about that new generation of 18-year-olds that became 18 right in 19, right, became 18 right into the 70s, They became 18 going into the 70s. It was probably, let's say they became 18 in 1967. So they was in their early 20s in a whole new world, whole new marketplace out there. Those were the ones that ultimately became the single mothers that ultimately led to the raising the sons that committing all the crimes in the 80s that made it necessary for the crime bill. See how it's all connected? So Isiah Thomas' first act in doing something politically was to deal with the problem happening on the ground. Negroes shooting each other. Wasn't no racism, oppression. Wasn't they holding us back? Even though the racism, oppression was more easily identifiable back then. But the fact of the matter is, I respect, what he was doing there. That meant something, he's going in there. Now, I hate the way that was worded. Can we just stop the violence? Can you niggas just not shoot each other for one day, 24 hours? Could you not sell crack for 24 hours? Could you not shoot somebody for 24 hours? Like, that's literally what he was talking about, what he was pleading for there. Like, I hate that that's even a thing, but, is what it is, was worded the way that it is worded, and that is what it is. And Body Sugg says, but Jordan has shoes, though. Got a better shoe game. Okay, cool.
said. He brought a mother, now motherless because of gun violence, up on stage to make a point to the youth 2 months prior to the march. Guess who came up with the idea and
By the way, that's Irvin Magic Johnson right there. Shout out to Magic Johnson, who was pretty damn rich, and he built them theaters. And I remember he was mentioned. This was before I was even thinking like this. I remember he was talking about how he hired, how his theaters employ a lot of black people, and that was part of one of the goals of it. So that's really what I talk about all the time. I say they're celebrities who got rich off something else. They need to, even if they don't know nothing about a business, but they need to hire somebody who do know something about a particular business, build that business, use their money to build that business up, hire black people. If you got money, shit like that is simple to do. So he was talking about how hiring black people was his thing that he wanted to do. I remember that, and so I have a certain amount of respect for Magic Johnson for that. But I did want to point out that Isiah Thomas, if we're determining whether or not he votes Democrat or Republican, his first act of political, putting his feet in the political water, it was something that you couldn't put on any side of the aisle, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? And it was a very noble cause. So that was worth being pointed out. But we're about to roll with the beautiful bean footage. But shout out to Magic Johnson. Gotta acknowledge Magic Johnson down there on the front line. It's a shirt right there. It says, y'all can't really see it, but it says No Crime Day. I guess that's the date underneath it, but it was a No Crime Day. Let's stop it one day, which is cool.
approached local politicians. Isiah Thomas. In 2008, the No Hate campaign took off. There was Isiah on the front lines. He posed with his son, Joshua Zeke.
As somebody kept mentioning in the chat that yes, Isaiah's son is gay. Somebody has to explain to me how the two greatest point guards in NBA history both happen to have gay sons. Somebody got to explain that one. I would love to have that one explained. Huge coincidence. Huge coincidence. Like literally the two greatest. Only person you got argue. You can't argue about Magic Johnson being the greatest point guard ever. Isiah Thomas, you can make an argument that on paper John Stockton is better, but with your eyes don't tell you John Stockton better. But you can make an argument on paper. Okay, this is just sounds like somebody's not understanding the conversation. I said the two greatest point guards ever. Not random NBA players with gay sons. No, the two greatest point guards of all time. Jesus. No, they're not. Get out of there, perfect storm. Get out of there, perfect storm. They are not. All right, don't get me off focus, Excalibur. I see you trying to don't throw no NBA stats at me. I see you said Stockton played longer, so he has better stats. Yes, he has better career totals overall because he played longer, but then when you do break down his stats year by year, he had a lot of years where he was averaging 17.14 assists and 3 steals, and that's pretty damn good. Like that, like he had some years where like his assists per game, had he not played that many years, he would have finished with the highest assists per game total. He played so many years that it made his overall total drop down, but he had so many years where he was getting in between 12 and 14 assists and anywhere between 16, 17 points, so Stockton had some damn good years, but the eyes still tell me Isiah Thomas was better because he just, if you would have just, okay, put it like this. If you traded Isiah for John Stockton and had John Stockton running those Detroit bad boy teams, they don't win 2 championships. You trade Isiah for John Stockton and have Isiah Thomas in that Jerry Sloan offense doing pick and rolls with Karl Malone the whole damn game, but coming off that pick, depending on how they defend it, either pulling up or taking it to the hole. Oh, man. But then still got the option to drop it off to Karl Malone for the little 14-footer or hit him rolling. You'd gave that to Isiah Thomas for 12 years. Well, I mean, for Stockton, it was like 20 years, but just 12 years, Isiah Thomas with that. Oh, yeah, they would have got about 2 championships. Isiah Thomas and Karl Malone, being together in Utah, yeah, they would have got like 2 championships. The same 2 that Isiah got in Detroit. John Stockton would not have got. He wouldn't have made that. He wouldn't have been able to make that happen in Detroit. But John Stockton, he could shoot, but he wouldn't know go-to guy scorer like that. So yeah, 2 greatest point guards of all time: Magic Johnson, Isiah Thomas. I used to give it to Stockton because of those stats, but I had to come to my senses. Isiah Thomas is better than John Stockton. 2 greatest point guards of all time have gay sons. That's just a funny tidbit worth acknowledging. Worth acknowledging. Bernard is speaking the true NBA ball playing. This new NBA is different. It is different. I'm not talking basketball, goddammit. I'm not doing it. I keep mentioning I got an old NBA channel that I do. It's sitting there with like 450 subs. I'm going to bring it back to life one of these days. I promise. But for right now, no. If we do a panel and I'm in the 3rd or 4th hour where we've already done the regularly scheduled program, then I will do a full, we would just transition it to full NBA. But I'm going to stop doing that during the normal part of the show. Got to break it up into segments, Steph was the first unanimous MVP. So? Because when Shaq in 2000, Shaq in 2000, some hater gave somebody else a vote. It was LeBron would have been unanimous, but somebody gave Carmelo Anthony a first place vote. It was a lot of people that would have been unanimous. Jordan would have been unanimous plenty of times, but somebody else, there's always one hipster that just will get, like Jordan would have won unanimous in 96, but I think some hipster gave Penny Hardaway a first place vote. And Penny Hardaway was playing with Shaq. And he wasn't the most valuable player to his own team, but he got a first place MVP vote. So it's always one hater. So Steph's being the first unanimous MVP, that's not a big deal. That's just because nobody decided to be a hipster. And the irony is the year that Jordan should have won it unanimously, it was in 1996 when they won 72 games. The year that Steph won it unanimously, it was in 2016, I believe, where they won 73 games. So Steph got it unanimously because his team broke the all-time win record. Jordan, for damn sure, should have got it unanimously when his team broke the all-time win record at the time. But like I said, there was a hipster that wanted to give Penny Hardaway a first-place vote. So no, I hate when people quote stuff like that as if it means more than what it really means. There we go. All right, let's get back on subject. The Golden Eagle 99 says, nah, if Stockton played with those Pistons, they would have won at least 2 chips. I disagree. You underestimate, don't get me talking about sports. I'm trying to do a show here. God damn it. You're underestimating how many times Isiah Thomas had to take over in the fourth quarter. I mean, drop like 20 points in the fourth quarter. Like Stockton ain't had that in him. Stockton would get like the 16, 17, 18 points that came to him. Was an excellent game manager. A lot of assists, very low turnovers, a lot of steals. He was the prototypical game manager. His basketball IQ was through the roof. But I mean, come on. Stockton was on the Detroit Bad Boys. They playing against the Celtics. They playing against Dominique Wilkins Hawks. They playing against the Lakers. They playing against the Bulls, Michael Jordan Bulls. They down 10 in the fourth quarter. If Stockton is the best scorer on your team, do you trust him to go off and score, 14, 15, 16 points in the fourth quarter to bring that team back? Nah. Isiah Thomas was a lot like Chris Paul prime, where Chris Paul would go the whole game. Going into the fourth quarter, he might have 12 points and 6 assists. At the end of the game, you look up at the stats, he somehow finished with 27, 13, and 8 rebounds. Like certain players just ballers like that. They clutch. They know how to get it. Like they little point guards. They got high point guard IQ. They got that Rondo level point guard skills, that Steve Nash in them. But when it's time to score, they can be a full-blown go-to scorer. That wasn't Stockton. That was Isiah. So Isiah could have adjusted and did the John Stockton pick and roll with Karl Malone thing and still been that savage, that scorer in the fourth. John Stockton would not have been able to go over there to the Pistons and be that savage, that scorer, that game finisher, that closer that they would have needed him to be. They would have had to rely on Joe Dumars and Vinnie Johnson to do all that. And they were good at it, but they needed Isiah. Quit getting me off subject, goddammit. Quit getting me off subject. But thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. All right. We're trying to establish where does somebody like Isiah Thomas lie politically? Somebody who says, who's on the record saying that welfare, those policies, those democratic policies broke up his family. He saw it with his own eyes. If he saw that, where does he politically lie today? Welfare didn't break up my family, but I can look at data. I can look at the black community. I could look at black men and black women not together. I could look at the lack of families. I could look at the simple fact that women ultimately having the ability through their own hard work, strong, independent, don't need no man or via government, either one, decreases the probability that they're going to see the need and importance of a man. And you give them all this modern day westernized, liberalized freedom, they're going to go their own way. They're going to go WGTOW. And we know what happens when women go WGTOW. They end up raising kids by themselves. And we know what happens when women raise kids by themselves. The data is there. Somebody like Isiah Thomas, who's 59 years old, who experienced it firsthand on the ground and saw it and can still speak very articulately about it. It seems like he would have the revelation that a lot of us had that, conservatism is the best way for black people to go. But I'm showing what scant evidence I could find that shows that he probably did not make the connection. He probably is voting Democrat. Perfect Storm in the building. He says Stockton would be shut down versus the Bulls, Jordan and Pippen. Yeah, if you had to depend on him for scoring. Yeah. Some people just score when it comes to him. Isiah had to be a go-to guy. That's a different ball game. Stockton would have got more out of Lambert. Possibly. He would have possibly pick and popped with Lambert, but come on. Lambert could do a pick and pop. You don't want Lambert picking and rolling. That's for damn sure. So no, I think you might be trolling. All right, let's get back on topic. Appreciate all the super chats, everybody who came through on the super chat end. Appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. Where we at though? Boom. I did not make that beat right. All right, here we go.
Thomas, who spoke of his story to The Cut. When former NBA player John Amici came out as gay, Thomas, then coach of the Knicks, was asked of a gay player in his clubhouse. His answer was ahead of its time. I can't speak for somebody else's locker room, but if it's mine, we won't have a problem. I'll make damn sure there's no problem. We're a diverse society and we preach acceptance. We're proud of diversity, and no matter your sexual preference may be, no one should be excluded. When Magic...
That statement, I don't disagree with that statement. Let me explain. I don't disagree with that statement. We're a diverse society and we preach acceptance. We are a diverse society and we should be accepting of other people. That part is true. We're proud of diversity, and that's sort of embedded into what America is. We're a melting pot. And no matter what your sexual preference, okay. I think he should have said sexual orientation. But that's just my little thing right there. That's me. I don't want to get too much into that. But I think the sentence flows better and makes more sense to me, no matter what your sexual orientation, because I think people do just have an orientation. Some people just gay because they're gay and they just gay. Some parts come off the assembly line with, a little different. That's just what it is. So regardless of how they came off the assembly line, no one should be excluded because we're all people. And people should look out for people. Okay. And that's why, I didn't have a problem. I wasn't supporting gay marriage in the sense that I wouldn't go march with their ass. But yeah, I think they do deserve to get married. They deserve to live whatever life that that's where I'm at with that. Yeah, a lot of people saying preference is correct, because I am of the belief that some people that people are ultimately we're not getting into that, rather not people born gay or just choose to be gay. I don't think otherwise straight people just choose to take one up to what. I think that they're I'm not touching that today. But either way, there's nothing wrong with that statement in my estimation, that hey, we got a basketball team. The criteria for being in the NBA is, can you play ball or not? What you do in your bedroom at night has nothing to do with whether or not you can hit an open three-pointer. I think that's fair. BAP says preference implies you have more than one choice, i.e. bisexual. Orientation is how you are naturally inclined. And Mr. Shane Vicious says orientation is how you naturally incline. I'm of the belief, I know a lot of people, black folks in particular, are not with me on that, but I do some people are just naturally inclined to be gay. Gay people have been here ever since recorded history. And history is defined as human beings did it and they wrote it down. Prehistoric is human beings did it, but it wasn't written down. I think I got that right. So ever since recorded history, where human beings could do something and write about it, there's been gay people. So I'm just accept the simple fact that there's a percentage that's just baked into the cake, which is going to come off the assembly line with a certain orientation. And that just is what it is. But either way, I'm not here to debate that. But that, that's, yeah, somebody just said it right. I don't agree, but it's whatever, not a big deal. Thank you. You say some shit like that and people want to make the whole stream about that, but that's just me. I just want to point out that ain't nothing wrong with that statement, but this is showing some of his left liberal leaning.
Excluded. When Magic Johnson had to retire after his HIV announcement, the world was shook. Back then, a positive test was simply a death sentence. In 1992, as president of the Players Association, Thomas made it clear Magic should be in the All-Star Association.
Hold on, let me point something out too.
Sentence. In 1992, as president.
This dude right here, I can't stand him. His job, he worked for the Young Turks, TYT Network, the Young Turks. His job is to basically be the white face that talks about black issues. You see this Kobe Bryant book right there, Chicago Bulls. So I mean, he does the sports wing of it, but he pops up on my Facebook timeline simply talking about any. He's like the oppression porn department for the Young Turks. When the oppression porn department for the Young Turks. Whenever anything happens to a black person, he's there talking about it. He's calling out how wrong it is. This is awful. This is this. This is that. And vote Democrat. Because we feel your pain. We hear your cries. That's his job. To be the white guy to show black people that the Democrats are the ones who really love you. That is his job. Whenever you see him, that is what he's going to be doing. I guarantee it. You're not going to hear him doing nothing else. And that's more or less what he's doing in this video. He's because this was after The Last Dance came out and the Pistons were viewed as the villains. The Pistons were viewed as the villain. Isiah Thomas was viewed as the villain, but he wanted to use the opportunity to point out that, okay, he was a villain in this documentary, but he's done more social justice warrior stuff, and Michael Jordan hasn't. That's really the whole point of this video, to try to shit on Jordan, who made the statement, Republicans buy sneakers too. That's the whole point of his video.
President of the Players Association, Thomas made it clear Magic should be in the All-Star game. They weren't going to let Magic play. All the players were coming out against him. I told them not only was he going to play, but we were going to shake his hand and give him a hug. And I was the first to shake his hand and hug him and give him a kiss to let people know that's not how the virus is spread. This also hit Thomas hard. In 2004, his brother Gregory died of AIDS. He also fought for players to keep more of the money they rightfully earned. As president of the PA, Thomas made enemies by the hundreds, calling out the biggest he could find, slicing the agents' cut of contracts from 10 to 4%, infuriating them all. In February,
that's a very conservative move right there. And well, I don't know if to say that. Now that's not fair. That's not fair. That's a move that he made the right move, making sure the players get more of their cut. And the agents ain't doing that much damn work to where they deserve 10%. 4% is about accurate. So shout out to Isiah Thomas for that. But they talking a lot about his social justice warriorism that they about to get more into, which is going to lead me to the conclusion that he probably votes left, even though you saw him pin the tail right on the right donkey.
February of 2012, Trayvon Martin was murdered for having Skittles in his pocket and wearing a hoodie by a racist, not policeman, but neighborhood watchman, George.
Okay. Remember when I told y'all this is the guy who his job is to talk about anything bad happening to black people? It's to sell the narrative in the emotionally gripping way that just tugs at our hearts and makes us just get fired up to go vote Democrat. That's what that guy's job is. That sounded like RBR, didn't it? This white dude sounded like white RBR. Said, well, Trayvon Martin was killed for having Skittles in a hoodie. Like, he just didn't get caught with Skittles in a hoodie and get shot on sight. Now, what happened was wrong, but I hate when they word it in that reckless way. When white people word it in there, I can understand black people wording it like that. I can understand us talking like that. When white liberals are talking like that in their scheme to just pull at our heartstrings and say, we care about you, vote Democrat. It's annoying. Silent Lamont said, I got dibs on the first Biden phone. I've said before that it was that Trayvon Martin case was nuanced. I compare it to the case where the one guy pushed where the woman parked in a handicapped spot. Her husband or boyfriend or whoever the hell got out the car. He went in the store. Some crazy white man started berating her. People ran in the store, told him, and then he came out there. He pushed the guy down to the ground, and then the guy pulled out the gun and shot him. The guy wasn't an immediate threat to him because all he did is pushed him down on the ground. He was sitting there yelling at my woman all up in her face. I'm going to protect my woman. That's fair. That's his wife. That's the mother of his child. Some old crazy man getting in her face yelling at her. Yeah, push him down. He didn't do nothing wrong there. And he didn't go hop on top of the guy and start beating his ass. But the guy pulled out a gun and shot him when he was just standing right there. That white guy's in jail. The reason I compare that to the Trayvon Martin case, because people don't understand the difference and the distinction is why that white guy is in jail and Zimmerman is not. Whatever happened prior to Trayvon Martin and Zimmerman, they should not have met. He should not have been bothering him. He should not have approached him or said anything to him. Zimmerman initiated the contact. At that point, we don't know who threw the first punch. But we do know that there's a lot of evidence that Trayvon Martin didn't just push him down, but no, he hopped on top of him and started beating his ass. George Zimmerman had a broken nose, had a busted head bleeding from the back, head getting banged on the concrete. So if somebody banging your head on the concrete, they're a threat to your life. You shoot that person who's a threat to your life in a fight that you started, but you had to save yourself because somebody was a threat to your life because they was beating your ass in a fight that you started. That's not exactly first or second degree murder. But it is something. It's something. But if somebody had a gun on them the whole time and they only used it when they were on the ground on their back with somebody punching them in the face and banging their head on the concrete, you can't say that he walked over there with malicious intent to kill. That's what second degree murder would have had to be. I think as Black people, we would do a better job to understand how that works and accurately explain that. But instead, we explain everything and talk about everything in an emotional way. Because if we were smart, when that second degree murder, instead of saying, yeah, we'd have been like, wait a minute. Everything I just described fits manslaughter to a T. Now, I was wrong. Let me make it very clear. I was absolutely wrong in my analysis of Ahmaud Arbery because I got the open carry and the citizen's arrest shit mixed up. I didn't have it right. I was wrong on that one. I think I admitted that in the follow-up video, but I was wrong in my analysis on that one. I don't think I'm wrong in my analysis on this one. We got to analyze things properly and put things in the proper way. I understand the emotion of it, but we can't legally legislate our emotions and get the right charge under the right statutes, under the right this, under the right that, and get the right conviction. But Democrats don't care about that. They just want you emotionally recharged up and reacting and saying, yeah, the fucking Republicans are racist and the Democrats care about us. Yeah, they shot them over Skittles. That's ignorant. And that's what this white dude just did. He just did the liberal little rabbit out of the hat trick to just speak to us like RBR, but he white, so we gonna, yeah, he really means it. He's speaking up for us. He's saying what needs to be said. Perfect Storm, he said Trey should have never stopped until Zimmerman was asleep. No, Zimmerman shot him while Trayvon Martin was beating his ass. Silent Lamont says, Bernard, there is no situation in the universe a black man with a gun. Black gun ownership has been going up. I see plenty of black men. It's open carry here in Michigan. I see plenty of black men with guns concealed or open. It's a normal thing. Where a black man with a gun is following a white kid through a neighborhood, is told to stop. An altercation ensues. He beats up and shoots the kid. I actually saw a situation where I don't know what the result of it is, but some white dude was following a black man who had a gun. And the black man was like, "Gone, leave me alone." He tried to walk away. The white dude charged him and he put out his gun and shot. I don't think that guy is going to jail. I'm not trying to get too deep off into that. I'm just trying to talk about how the guy just deliberately tried to pull at the emotional heartstrings of black people in the way that he analyzed it, because it's a side point in the show, but they literally try to pull at our emotions as if they don't give us the benefit of the doubt that we have. We don't have the ability to properly analyze what happened. White man bad, black man good. That's what I hear when I say he got shot for having Skittles. Like you got to see that's a ploy to pull at our emotional heartstrings to get us to vote Democrat. Because that's all the TYT is about, just trying to get people to vote Democrat. They got a whole wing in department that just talks about black oppression, just a nonstop montage of black oppression porn. And just to say that we're with you, we're on your side, we're going to do something about it because we're the Democrats, come vote for us. That's a problem. And if a 17-year-old white boy, for whatever reason, if whatever the initial disagreement or confrontation was, however the conflict started, if the white guy jump on top of the black guy and start beating his ass and banging his head on the ground and punching him in the face, and while the black guy is on his back getting beat up and he shoot the white dude, that black dude should get off. But if it's proven that the black dude started the fight, and the only reason that the two people even interacted at all was because the black dude started the fight, then it gets in manslaughter territory. But that ain't the topic. Easy for me to get off topic. I got to work on that.
George Zimmerman.
I just simply need a sufficient amount of facts to arrive at a conclusion.
Thus, Will Kane saw an opportunity. When no arrest was made, marches were held across the country from Miami to LA. Guess who was there on the front lines with Trayvon's family? Isiah Thomas. Take another crack at who donned a hoodie. Isiah Thomas. Michael Jordan, nowhere to be found. I can no longer stay silent, he finally wrote in 2016 on The Undefeated, an extension of ESPN. It's better late than never. However, we should heap praise on the man who was there from the get-go. It's a legacy of ups and downs, limited to almost zero success as head coach and team president in the NBA, especially with Anika Brown Sanders, is grotesque.
Yeah, that part, man, you got charged with some sexual assault or some shit. Not sexual assault, I think harassment. That part is irrelevant to what we're discussing here. I got off topic with a lot of different things, but to circle it back to the main topic is, despite Isiah Thomas putting the tail on the donkey properly when it comes to the breakup of the Black family, with little evidence we could find, there's indicators that he probably votes Democrat, as most Black men do. Fantastic in the build is niggas do this every day and we don't care. Nigga can't take the L, so he come back later and shoots. You come back later and shoot, I think you do deserve to go to jail. If you shoot while you if you're on the ground getting your ass beat, somebody on top of you beating your ass and you shoot them while they beating your ass. I'm divided on whether or not that's a prison sentence to me, pending who started the fight. If you started the fight, get your ass whooped in a fight that you started, and you shoot the person, yeah, you need to go to jail. But on what charge? That don't fit the description of first-degree murder or second-degree murder. But you do need to go to jail. I think Black people need to do a better job at analyzing what happened, reading what the law actually says, and making sure that these things are listed under the right charge. Exactly, Bernard. Hence, if you knock me down, I'm shooting up. Well, you got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. If you knock me down, I'm shooting up. Because that one white dude who got pushed down and he shot up, his ass is in jail. He shot up at a Black dude. He's in jail. So somebody pushing you down, if they just push you down, they're not a threat. Now, if they push you down and come try to stand over you and stump you or hop on you and start punching you, oh yeah, you got full creative control to shoot up then. We understand that. But if somebody just push you down and stand there, you technically can't shoot them. If they push you down and then charge, you can shoot. That's a weird thing with the law. But Isiah Thomas has the social justice warrior political record that implies to me that he probably voted Democrat. I understand a lot of it is emotional. His son fighting for, gay people fighting for gay rights. His son is a LGBTQRS. So he, did some stuff with his son in support of his son. He supported John Amici, the guy that came out in the NBA as gay. So he's probably a liberal for those reasons right there. Probably a liberal. So there's weird reasons that lead Black men to liberalism. But when we look at it and break down what liberals are really talking about, what the progressives are really talking about, a lot of what they're talking about is, being against patriarchy, being for, I don't want to say just for women's rights, but for doing whatever they can to help women get a leg up or hand out, doing whatever they can with that. So, being, pro LGBTQRS, pro women, pro immigration, legal or illegal, being pro all of those things that have nothing to do with you as a man who has understands and sees the importance of a patriarchal view of the world. And clearly Isiah Thomas saw the importance of that. Clearly, because you saw how he spoke so highly of his dad in the first video that I showed. How his dad was about hard work and education and this and that and all the structure. And he talked about in a previous video that I didn't have ready to go, that I may, well, I don't know. He talked about how crazy his mama was. Talk about how welfare broke up the family. He talked about how that, you know, and it was personal. I mean, I want to keep, he's not just somebody, you know, on a platform quoting stats. He said it was personal. He saw when welfare came and the man couldn't be in the house and how that was a divide between him and his mom. Their things were very contentious between the two of them. And that was part of the reason of the separation. Part of the reason of the separation. Part of the reason why his family broke up. He said it. Welfare was breaking up families, and he experienced it firsthand. A lot of black men experience that. A lot of black men see that. A lot of those black men are grown as adult. Isiah Thomas, in his case, 59 years old, successful, multi-millionaire, businessman, great career in basketball, great career after basketball, even though he sucked as a coach and a GM, but he's a great commentator. He's getting paid lots of money with that. He has other endeavors. He's been the president of the Players Association. He's that dude. He's that dude. As a black man who experienced that, who saw that firsthand, and can look at the black community firsthand, you would think a lot of them would have a different view politically of what's going to help black people. But you can see that same person engaging in all the social justice warriorism that's going on, which implies that he's voting to the left. He's voting Democrat, and he's not putting the proper tail on the donkey. Strong families is the only way that I can see that people even get out of this. As I stated with the Ice Cube contract with Black America, it was very much the case that a lot of that stuff that they was putting out there, they were missing. If the underrated aspect of building is not dealt with, and that's building better people, the people with the credit scores to get these loans, to get the people who has the know-how and ability to get these grants, to run these businesses, the people who are equipped with the knowledge and the skills and all of that. These people are not being built up if it's baby mama ism and baby daddy ism. Mr. Shane Vicious said welfare is a cop-out. Welfare is a cop-out if it can be a cop-out if an individual man is saying that I left my family because of welfare. You know, I can't rock with that aspect of the excuse making, because I understand that. That's why I said earlier in the show, the men, they should not have left. And that's why I asked the question, well, how we know that the woman didn't leave, or how do you know they didn't do some that's, you know, the start of the whole weekend dad or the uncle dad thing, where he was there, he was around, but he was separate. He wanted to come back. Well, he come back. Well, then we can't get this welfare. Okay, fuck that welfare. Well, no, we were eating. We getting more food in our stomach now with the welfare. Okay, we went starving to death. So let's stay together. Let's work this out. And then so that caused the family to break up. Caused a relationship to fail. A relationship to fail back in a time when men only got the children 1% of the time. And that normally because there was a circumstance, you know, it was no such thing as a man just getting the children back then. So the notion of men, did the man leave his family, or did the relationship fail? And why did the relationship fail? What was the cause of it? And if welfare was one of the root causes of it, we do got to look at that. We do got to look at that. This is why I advocate for, this is Golden Eagle 99 says, this is why I advocate for people buying and wearing a bulletproof vest. Damn. Even if you don't open carry. For confrontations like you just described, Bernie. You see, here's the thing. It's sort of an odd thing because I guarantee the guy who's walking around with that vest, very low probability he's going to end up in a situation where he needs to have the vest on. So, but it's like, you got to be committed. You got to wear a vest every day for 10 years, just in case some shit happened. It probably won't happen. That's a weird thing. That's a weird thing that most people don't do. But I think what most people can do and will do is just have your gun tucked. No matter what, you leave the house, you got your strap on you. A lot of people do that. I heard gun buying is up among black people. So there's that. There's that. Ben D'Souza in the building. That more or less rounds out everything that I was going to talk about today. And I'm not about to get my marathon on. And seeing as I'm almost all the way at the 3-hour mark, we about to wrap this bad boy up. We about to go ahead and wrap this bad. What's up with this Tommy hairline, dude? What the hell is up with that? I think somebody already hid him from the channel. I don't even know why he. Holy shit! Look at that hairline. Yeah, I remember when I said them Sonic the Hedgehog hairlines. That's what I was talking about right there. That shit looked like a damn rat rug. You know how they got them bear rugs on the floor? You know, that look like a damn rat rug. Fucking squirrel rug on the ground. You got that Vegeta hairline. You got that Vegeta. You look like you about to charge up, go Super Saiyan. Why niggas be in this space with shirtless pictures? What's up with that? Why they come in with a damn shirtless picture? And I know he's trolling with the hairline. That's probably not him. There'll be a lot of niggas with damn be up in here shirtless. In this male space. You know what's funny about that picture? It's like it's not a. I pay attention to pictures. That's not just a candid picture. Like, he got in front of the mirror, he got posed just right, got the camera lined up just right. You know, not too high, not too low. Because you try to do that, and the camera be in front of your face, so you got to get it low. But you get it low, then it's only then you're cutting off part of your face. I mean, you got to like kind of tilt it at an angle so you can see everything. Like, it take work to get that. So he took time to get that picture just right, how he wanted it, snapped it, and he looked at that and said, yes, that's exactly the look I was going for right there. That could not have been your intention. How did you approve that message? How? Yeah, somebody said it looked like the Batman symbol. Somebody said, is that really platinum? Yeah, platinum need to show itself. I want to know. I do want to know what platinum looks like. Oh man. Man. People normally cut off the Eddie Monster right there. That ain't no Eddie Monster. That's an Eddie Monster. Eddie Godzilla. Like that's the biggest damn monster known to man. Like, that don't even count as an Eddie Monster. That motherfucker coming down so large. It's damn near gonna touch it in between his eyebrows. That's damn near a unibrow. Like, it's gonna That mug almost down here. Man, you see somebody like that, I guarantee he just when you walk around with a haircut like that, you just walk past a school and Amber Alerts go off. Everybody fell cell phones are he be setting off Amber. He look like he sat down in the barber chair, like, yeah, man, just give me the Amber Alert. Just give me I'll have the Amber Alert. That's what they call that cut right there. They call that the Amber Alert. Oh, man. I said I'm doing 3 hours, so I've been roasting them the last 4 minutes. I just get my roast on for another few minutes and then wrap it up. Shit. Man. I think it would actually look better if he cut that shit off right there and just went with just go with a George Jefferson. Like, I honestly think a George Jefferson looked better than that. But it would look real bad though. Like if he, like the Eddie Monsters are normally kind of light. You can cut them off, and the little pricklies won't really grow back, and for like another, a few days, a week, sometimes 5 days. Probably not until you need the haircut again. But that's so thick, that part right there. If he cut that off, and then lined it up way back here, I guarantee by he'll have like a little 5 o'clock shadow, right? That damn Eddie Monster, he had like a 5 o'clock shadow of that shit. A bunch of little pricklies by 5 o'clock. That should have grown back. Well, you can tell it grow back fast. It grow back faster than Mr. Shane Vigil said, black hairlines matter. Not that one. Not that one. Oh, shit, I lost him. No, come back. Come back. I got to find you. I went down with you. Where you at? Where you at, though? I got to find that. I know when he cut that off, I know it grow back fast. Like he would have to literally just shave. He had to wake up and shave that shit every morning. He'd be like freshly lined up right here, but then just a bunch of peach fuzz, a little goddamn Sonic the Hedgehog peach fuzz right here that he basically just got to wake up every morning and. Cause I know somebody that got a unibrow, and they say more or less every morning they got a that's just part of this routine while they getting ready, brushing their teeth, doing this, just grab the razor or the clippers and just the unibrow every morning. He would have to. That's why he just gave up and just let it go, because he would have to tend to it every day. So that's why he just rock it. He can't just sit there and tend to that thing every single day. It's exhausting. It takes a lot of work to keep that thing intact. Got derailed by the swirlers, pro back simps, and basketball. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. We had fun. We had fun. We said everything we needed to say. We said everything we needed to say. The whole point of the stream today was to just point out that black men do see the problem. They do see where things went wrong, but many of them still vote the other way or mouth the political platitudes or platforms of those that don't give a damn about that problem. But that problem is the biggest problem. And that's part of what the Black Manosphere will do, or at least something that I would do, is keep identifying how big of a problem that is. So I covered everything I needed to cover and made every point that I wanted to make. And the little derailments don't really matter. I don't mind. I don't mind them, long as they're loosely related to the conversation. I can get derailed and talk about that and then circle back to the main point, which I did today. Okay, we're 3 hours in, good people. 3 hours in, good people. I'd like to thank everybody who came through today, who hit the like button, who shared, subscribe, hit the super chat. Shout out to my man, Coach Ali, who he came through with a heavy-handed super chat earlier in the show. I got to do with Black Ram and my man Ohene Mora of Mel Enlightenment TV. They call it a sponsor came through. So yes, this show today was brought to you by Coach Ali. I'm remiss. I'm dropping the ball here, not putting his link in the chat. Should have did that. Make sure y'all checking that brother out. That's the last thing I'll do before I get out of here. Make sure y'all sub to that brother. He's slowly but surely growing his YouTube channel. I think he's on other platforms doing other things. The brother does the Lord's work. I did a really good stream with him a while back called How to Do an Off the Record Marriage. It was a real good stream. I definitely enjoyed that one. And that's that brother's channel. Make sure you go check him out. As I get out of here. Just take a little clickety clack. Just go subscribe. Click on that and go subscribe. And then we are signing out. Peace. Catch you tomorrow. Got a good one for you tomorrow, but I'm not even going to tease what it's about. I already did it earlier in the show. We out of here.